Calgary Forest Lawn.
After 8 years of the Liberal NDP government, they plan on quadrupling their carbon tax scam to crush families, farmers, and First Nations further. This Prime Minister is not worth the cost. He refuses to tell his senators to stand down and pass common-sense Conservative Bill C-234 to take the tax off our farmers. Even First Nation communities, more than 100, are fed up and taking this government to court over the carbon tax, saying it's disproportionate and an unfair burden to them. When will the Prime Minister take the carbon tax off families, farmers, First Nations, finally?
Hear, hear.
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And for the fourth or fifth time, I'd like to remind the Conservatives that the only senators that sit in a caucus sit in their Conservative caucus, and the Senate is in fact independent, Mr. Speaker. And, you know, I would actually like to raise the fact that the Conservatives have had this really troubling trend of bullying, particularly female senators, whenever they're not getting what they want out of the Senate. And that's a real problem, Mr. Speaker. That's a problem for democracy, and they should reconsider how they manage their affairs on Twitter and accusing senators of not advancing their legislation at their whimsy.
The Honourable Member for Calgary Forest Lawn.
This is coming from the guy that swore at a girl in her DMs. After 8 years, the Liberal NDP government's empty acts of reconciliation are not worth the cost. A recent Auditor General report proved the carbon tax is an unfair burden on Indigenous communities, something that the Chiefs of Ontario reiterated just last week. And you know what, Mr. Speaker? So is this Liberal NDP government, because they still plan on quadrupling this carbon tax scam. When will the Prime Minister take the carbon tax off families, farmers, First Nations, finally?
Hey!